Chapter 14. All the congregation lifted up their voice and cried, and the people wept that night. All the children of Israel murmured against Moses and against Aaron, and the whole congregation said to them, Would that we had died in the land of Egypt, or would that we had died in this wilderness. Why does the Lord bring us to this land to fall by the sword? Our wives and our little ones will be a prey. Wouldn't it be better for us to return to Egypt? They said one to another, Let's make a captain, and let us return to Egypt. Then Moses and Aaron fell on their faces before all the assembly of the congregation of the children of Israel. Joshua the son of Nun, and Caleb the son of Jephunneh, who were of those who spied out the land, tore their clothes. And they spoke to all the congregation of the children of Israel, saying, The land which we passed through to spy it out is an exceedingly good land. If the Lord delights in us, then he will bring us into this land and give it to us, a land which flows with milk and honey. Only don't rebel against the Lord, neither fear the people of the land, for they are bread for us. Their defense is removed from over them, and the Lord is with us. Don't fear them. But all the congregation bade stone them with stones. The glory of the Lord appeared in the tent of meeting to all the children of Israel. The Lord said to Moses, How long will this people despise me? And how long will they not believe in me for all the signs which I have worked among them? I will strike them with the pestilence and disinherit them, and will make of you a nation greater and mightier than they. Moses said to the Lord, Then the Egyptians will hear it, for you brought up this people in your might from among them, and they will tell it to the inhabitants of this land. They have heard that you, O Lord, are in the midst of this people. For you, Lord, are seen face to face, and your cloud stands over them, and you go before them in a pillar of cloud by day, and in a pillar of fire by night. Now if you shall kill this people as one man, then the nations which have heard of the fame of you will speak, saying, Because the Lord was not able to bring this people into the land which he swore to them, therefore he has slain them in the wilderness. Now please let the power of the Lord be great, according as you have spoken, saying, The Lord is slow to anger, and abundant in loving kindness, forgiving iniquity and disobedience, and that will by no means clear the guilty, visiting the iniquity of the fathers on the children, and on the third and on the fourth generation. Pardon, please, the iniquity of this people, according to the greatness of your loving kindness, and according as you have forgiven this people from Egypt even until now. The Lord said, I have pardoned according to your word, but in very deed as I live, and as all the earth shall be filled with the glory of the Lord, because all those men who have seen my glory and my signs, which I worked in Egypt and in the wilderness, yet have tempted me these 10 times and have not listened to my voice, surely they shall not see the land which I swore to their fathers, neither shall any of those who despised me see it, but my servant Caleb, because he had another spirit with him, and has followed me fully, him will I bring into the land into which he went, and his seed shall possess it. Now the Amalekite and the Canaanite dwell in the valley. Tomorrow turn and get into the wilderness by the way of the Red Sea. The Lord spoke to Moses and to Aaron, saying, How long shall I bear with this evil congregation that murmur against me? I have heard the murmurings of the children of Israel which they murmur against me. Tell them, As I live, says the Lord, surely as you have spoken in my ears, so will I do to you. Your dead body shall fall in this wilderness, and all who were numbered of you, according to your whole number from 20 years old and upward, who have murmured against me, surely you shall not come into the land, concerning which I swore that I would make you dwell therein, save Caleb the son of Jephunneh, and Joshua the son of Nun. But your little ones, that you said should be a prey, them will I bring in, and they shall know the land which you have rejected. But as for you, your dead body shall fall in this wilderness. Your children shall be wanderers in the wilderness 40 years, and shall bear your prostitution, until your dead bodies be consumed in the wilderness. After the number of the days in which you spied out the land, even 40 days, for every day a year shall you bear your iniquities, even 40 years, and you shall know my alienation. I, the Lord, have spoken. Surely this will I do to all this evil congregation, who are gathered together against me. In this wilderness they shall be consumed, and there they shall die. The men whom Moses sent out to spy out the land, who returned, and made all the congregation to murmur against him, by bringing up an evil report against the land. Even those men who did bring up an evil report of the land died by the plague before the Lord. But Joshua the son of Nun and Caleb the son of Jephunneh remained alive of those men who went to spy out the land. Moses told these words to all the children of Israel, and the people mourned greatly. They rose up early in the morning, and got them up to the top of the mountain, saying, Behold, we are here, and will go up to the place which the Lord has promised us, for we have sinned. Moses said, Why now do you disobey the commandment of the Lord, seeing it shall not prosper? Don't go up, for the Lord is in among you, that you not be struck down before your enemies. For there the Amalekite and the Canaanite are before you, and you shall fall by the sword, because you are turned back from following the Lord. Therefore the Lord will not be with you. But they presumed to go up to the top of the mountain. Nevertheless, the ark of the covenant of the Lord and Moses didn't depart out of the camp. Then the Amalekite came down, and the Canaanite who lived in that mountain, and struck them, and beat them down even to Hormah. Chapter 15. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, and tell them, When you are come into the land of your habitations which I give to you, and will make an offering by fire to the Lord, a burnt offering or a sacrifice, to accomplish a vow, or as a freewill offering, or in your set feast, to make a sweet savor to the Lord, of the herd or of the flock, then shall he who offers his offering offer to the Lord a meal offering of 1/10 part of an ephah of fine flour, mixed with 1/4 part of a hin of oil, and wine for the drink offering, 1/4 part of a hin, shall you prepare with the burnt offering, or for the sacrifice, for each lamb. Or for a ram, you shall prepare a meal offering, 2/10 parts of an ephah of fine flour, mixed with 1/3 part of a hin of oil. And for the drink offering you shall offer 1/3 part of a hin of wine, of a sweet savor to the Lord. When you prepare a bull for a burnt offering, or for a sacrifice, to accomplish a vow, or for peace offerings to the Lord, then shall he offer with the bull a meal offering of 3/10 parts of an ephah of fine flour, mixed with 1/2 a hin of oil. And you shall offer for the drink offering 1/2 a hin of wine, for an offering made by fire, of a sweet savor to the Lord. Thus shall it be done for each bull, or for each ram, or for each of the he-lambs or of the kids. According to the number that you shall prepare, so shall you do to everyone according to their number. All who are homeborn shall do these things after this manner, in offering an offering made by fire, of a sweet savor to the Lord. If a stranger lives as a foreigner with you, or whoever may be among you throughout your generations, and will offer an offering made by fire, of a sweet savor to the Lord as you do, so shall he do. For the assembly there shall be one statute for you, and for the stranger who lives as a foreigner with you, a statute forever throughout your generations. As you are, so shall the foreigner be before the Lord. One law and one ordinance shall be for you, and for the stranger who lives as a foreigner with you. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, and tell them, When you come into the land where I bring you, then it shall be that when you eat of the bread of the land, you shall offer up a heave offering to the Lord. Of the first of your dough you shall offer up a cake for a heave offering. As the heave offering of the threshing floor, so shall you heave it. Of the first of your dough you shall give to the Lord a heave offering throughout your generations. When you shall err, and not observe all these commandments which the Lord has spoken to Moses, even all that the Lord has commanded you by Moses, from the day that the Lord gave commandment and onward throughout your generations, then it shall be, if it be done unwittingly, without the knowledge of the congregation, that all the congregation shall offer one young bull for a burnt offering, for a sweet savor to the Lord, with the meal offering of it, and the drink offering of it, according to the ordinance, and one male goat for a sin offering. The priest shall make atonement for all the congregation of the children of Israel, and they shall be forgiven, for it was an error, and they have brought their offering, an offering made by fire to the Lord, and their sin offering before the Lord for their error. And all the congregation of the children of Israel shall be forgiven, and the stranger who lives as a foreigner among them, for in respect of all the people it was done unwittingly. If one person sin unwittingly, then he shall offer a female goat 1 year old for a sin offering. The priest shall make atonement for the soul who errs, when he sins unwittingly before the Lord to make atonement for him, and he shall be forgiven. You shall have one law for him who does anything unwittingly, for him who is homeborn among the children of Israel, and for the stranger who lives as a foreigner among them. But the soul who does anything with a high hand, whether he is homeborn or a foreigner, the same blasphemes the Lord, and that soul shall be cut off from among his people, because he has despised the word of the Lord, and has broken his commandment. That soul shall be utterly cut off, his iniquity shall be on him. While the children of Israel were in the wilderness, they found a man gathering sticks on the Sabbath day. Those who found him gathering sticks brought him to Moses and Aaron, and to all the congregation. They put him in custody, because it had not been declared what should be done to him. The Lord said to Moses, "The man shall surely be put to death. All the congregation shall stone him with stones outside of the camp." All the congregation brought him outside of the camp, and stoned him to death with stones, as the Lord commanded Moses. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Speak to the children of Israel, and tell them to make fringes in the borders of their garments throughout their generations, and that they put on the fringe of each border a cord of blue. And it shall be to you for a fringe, that you may look on it, and remember all the commandments of the Lord, and do them, and that you do not follow after your own heart and your own eyes, after which you used to play the prostitute, that you may remember and do all my commandments, and be holy to your God. I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, to be your God. I am the Lord your God." Chapter 16. Now Korah, the son of Izhar, the son of Kohath, the son of Levi, with Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, and On, the son of Peleth, sons of Reuben, took men, and they rose up before Moses, with certain of the children of Israel, 250 princes of the congregation, called to the assembly, men of renown. And they assembled themselves together against Moses and against Aaron, and said to them, "You take too much on you, seeing all the congregation are holy, every one of them, and the Lord is among them. Why then lift yourselves up above the assembly of the Lord?" When Moses heard it, he fell on his face, and he spoke to Korah and to all his company, saying, "In the morning the Lord will show who are his, and who is holy, and will cause him to come near to him. Even him whom he shall choose he will cause to come near to him. This do, take censers, Korah, and all your company, and put fire in them, and put incense on them, before the Lord tomorrow. And it shall be that the man whom the Lord does choose, he shall be holy. You take too much on you, you sons of Levi." Moses said to Korah, "Hear now, you sons of Levi. It seems but a small thing to you that the God of Israel has separated you from the congregation of Israel, to bring you near to himself, to do the service of the tent of the Lord, and to stand before the congregation to minister to them, and that he has brought you near, and all your brothers, the sons of Levi, with you, and you seek the priesthood also? Therefore you and all your company are gathered together against the Lord and Aaron. What is he that you should murmur against him?" Moses sent to call Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, and they said, "We won't come up. Is it a small thing that you have brought us up out of a land flowing with milk and honey, to kill us in the wilderness, and that you must also make yourself a prince over us? Moreover, you haven't brought us into a land flowing with milk and honey, nor given us inheritance of fields and vineyards. Will you put out the eyes of these men? We won't come up." Moses was very angry and said to the Lord, "Don't respect their offering. I have not taken one donkey from them, neither have I hurt one of them." Moses said to Korah, "You and all your company go before the Lord, you and they and Aaron tomorrow, and take every man his censer, and put incense on them, and bring them before the Lord, every man his censer, 250 censers, you also, and Aaron, each his censer." They took every man his censer, and put fire in them, and laid incense on them, and stood at the door of the tent of meeting with Moses and Aaron. Korah assembled all the congregation against them to the door of the tent of meeting, and the glory of the Lord appeared to all the congregation. The Lord spoke to Moses and to Aaron, saying, "Separate yourselves from among this congregation, that I may consume them in a moment." They fell on their faces and said, O God, the God of the spirits of all flesh, shall one man sin, and will you be angry with all the congregation? The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the congregation and say, Get away from around the tent of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. Moses rose up and went to Dathan and Abiram, and the elders of Israel followed him. He spoke to the congregation, saying, Depart, I pray you, from the tents of these wicked men, and touch nothing of theirs, lest you be consumed in all their sins. So they got them up from the tent of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram on every side. And Dathan and Abiram came out, and stood at the door of their tents, and their wives, and their sons, and their little ones. Moses said, Hereby you shall know that the Lord has sent me to do all these works, for I have not done them of my own mind. If these men die the common death of all men, or if they be visited after the visitation of all men, then the Lord hasn't sent me. But if the Lord makes a new thing, and the ground opens its mouth, and swallows them up, with all that pertains to them, and they go down alive into Sheol, then you shall understand that these men have despised the Lord. It happened, as he made an end of speaking all these words, that the ground split apart that was under them, and that the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them up, and their households, and all the men who pertained to Korah, and all their goods. So they, and all that belonged to them, went down alive into Sheol, and the earth closed on them, and they perished from among the assembly. All Israel that were round about them fled at the cry of them, for they said, Lest the earth swallow us up. Fire came forth from the Lord, and devoured the 250 men who offered the incense. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to Eleazar the son of Aaron the priest, that he take up the censers out of the burning, and scatter the fire yonder, for they are holy, even the censers of these sinners against their own lives, and let them be made beaten plates for a covering of the altar, for they offered them before the Lord, therefore they are holy, and they shall be a sign to the children of Israel. Eleazar the priest took the brazen censers, which those who were burnt had offered, and they beat them out for a covering of the altar, to be a memorial to the children of Israel, to the end that no stranger, who isn't of the seed of Aaron, comes near to burn incense before the Lord, that he not be as Korah, and as his company, as the Lord spoke to him by Moses. But on the next day, all the congregation of the children of Israel murmured against Moses and against Aaron, saying, You have killed the people of the Lord. It happened, when the congregation was assembled against Moses and against Aaron, that they looked toward the tent of meeting, and behold, the cloud covered it, and the glory of the Lord appeared. Moses and Aaron came to the front of the tent of meeting. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Get away from among this congregation, that I may consume them in a moment. They fell on their faces. Moses said to Aaron, Take your censer, and put fire on it from off the altar, and lay incense on it, and carry it quickly to the congregation, and make atonement for them, for there is wrath gone out from the Lord, the plague is begun. Aaron took as Moses spoke, and ran into the midst of the assembly, and behold, the plague had begun among the people. And he put on the incense, and made atonement for the people. He stood between the dead and the living, and the plague was stopped. Now those who died by the plague were 14,700, besides those who died about the matter of Korah. Aaron returned to Moses to the door of the tent of meeting, and the plague was stopped.
Immediately in the morning the chief priest with the elders and scribes and the whole council held a consultation, and bound Jesus, and carried him away, and delivered him up to Pilate. Pilate asked him, Are you the king of the Jews? He answered, So you say. The chief priests accused him of many things. Pilate again asked him, Have you no answer? See how many things they testify against you? But Jesus made no further answer, so that Pilate marveled. Now at the feast he used to release to them one prisoner whom they asked of him. There was one called Barabbas, bound with those who had made insurrection, men who in the insurrection had committed murder. The multitude, crying aloud, began to ask him to do as he always did for them. Pilate answered them, saying, Do you want me to release to you the king of the Jews? For he perceived that for envy the chief priest had delivered him up. But the chief priest stirred up the multitude, that he should release Barabbas to them instead. Pilate again asked them, What then should I do to him whom you call the King of the Jews? They cried out again, Crucify him! Pilate said to them, Why? What evil has he done? But they cried out exceedingly, Crucify him! Pilate, wishing to please the multitude, released Barabbas to them, and handed over Jesus, when he had flogged him, to be crucified. The soldiers led him away within the court, which is the praetorium, and they called together the whole cohort. They clothed him with purple, and weaving a crown of thorns, they put it on him. They began to salute him, Hail, King of the Jews! They struck his head with a reed and spat on him, and bowing their knees did homage to him. When they had mocked him, they took the purple off of him, and put his own garments on him. They led him out to crucify him. They compelled one passing by, coming from the country, Simon of Cyrene, the father of Alexander and Rufus, to go with them, that he might bear his cross. They brought him to the place called Golgotha, which is, being interpreted, the place of a skull. They offered him wine mixed with myrrh to drink, but he didn't take it. Crucifying him, they parted his garments among them, casting lots on them, what each should take. It was the 3rd hour, and they crucified him. The superscription of his accusation was written over him, the King of the Jews. With him they crucified 2 robbers, one on his right hand and one on his left. The scripture was fulfilled, which says, He was numbered with transgressors. Those who passed by blasphemed him, wagging their heads and saying, Ha! You who destroy the temple and build it in 3 days, save yourself and come down from the cross. Likewise also the chief priests, mocking among themselves with the scribes, said, He saved others, he can't save himself. Let the Christ, the King of Israel, now come down from the cross, that we may see and believe him. Those who were crucified with him insulted him. When the 6th hour had come, there was darkness over the whole land until the 9th hour. At the 9th hour Jesus cried with a loud voice, saying, Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani, which being interpreted, my God, why have you forsaken me? Some of those who stood by when they heard it said, Behold, he is calling Elijah. One ran, and filling a sponge full of vinegar, put it on a reed, and gave it to him to drink, saying, Let him be. Let's see whether Elijah comes to take him down. Jesus cried with a loud voice, and gave up the spirit. The veil of the temple was torn in 2 from the top to the bottom. When the centurion, who stood by opposite him, saw that he cried out like this, and breathed his last, he said, Truly this man was the Son of God. There were also women watching from afar, among whom were both Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of James the Less, and of Joseph, and Salome, who, when he was in Galilee, followed him and served him, and many other women who came up with him to Jerusalem. When evening had now come, because it was the preparation day, that is, the day before the Sabbath, Joseph of Arimathea, a prominent council member, who also himself was looking for the kingdom of God, came. He boldly went in to Pilate, and asked for Jesus' body. Pilate marveled if he were already dead, and summoning the centurion, he asked him whether he had been dead long. When he found out from the centurion, he granted the body to Joseph. He brought a linen cloth, and taking him down, wound him in the linen cloth, and laid him in a tomb which had been cut out of a rock. He rolled a stone against the door of the tomb. Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of Joseph, saw where he was laid.
Psalm 53. For the chief musician, to the tune of Mahalath, a contemplation by David. The fool has said in his heart, There is no God. They are corrupt and have done abominable iniquity. There is no one who does good. God looks down from heaven on the children of men to see if there are any who understand, who seek after God. Every one of them has gone back. They have become filthy together. There is no one who does good, no, not one. Have the workers of iniquity no knowledge, who eat up my people as they eat bread, and don't call on God? There they were in great fear, where no fear was, for God has scattered the bones of him who encamps against you. You have put them to shame, because God has rejected them. Oh, that the salvation of Israel would come out of Zion, when God brings back the captivity of his people. Then Jacob shall rejoice, Israel shall be glad. Psalm 54. For the chief musician on stringed instruments, a contemplation by David, when the Ziphites came and said to Saul, "Isn't David hiding himself among us?" Save me, God, by your name. Vindicate me in your might. Hear my prayer, God. Listen to the words of my mouth. For strangers have risen up against me. Violent men have sought after my soul. They haven't set God before them. Behold, God is my helper. The Lord is the one who sustains my soul. He will repay the evil to my enemies. Destroy them in your truth. With a freewill offering I will sacrifice to you. I will give thanks to your name, Yahweh, for it is good. For he has delivered me out of all trouble. My eye has seen triumph over my enemies.
Riches don't profit in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivers from death. The righteousness of the blameless will direct his way, but the wicked shall fall by his own wickedness. The righteousness of the upright shall deliver them, but the unfaithful will be trapped by evil desires.